Welcome to our Wednesday webinar for the fourth Wednesday of April. Our focus being seniors, ambassadors, and the great outdoors. And looking out this window, it is spring. In fact, there are goldfinches going crazy on my thistle bag out here. And they were gone for a while, so I thought maybe they were taking a siesta, but they're all back and sort of semi-attacking each other. It's very exciting. But it's a reminder that it's spring. In fact, we have some vernal pools happening in our marsh outside of our windows here at the South Portland office. And so it'll be fun to go tromping around looking to see if we can see any frog eggs or salamander eggs or anything before the mosquitoes and the black flies start turning up, because I'm sure they will turn up with a vengeance soon. But just today, as I was putting stuff together for this, an article came into my inbox that made me think of all of you senior and ambassador leaders, and it's called How to Help Teens Find Purpose. I'll slide it in. Can you see that?
I can.
Oh, good. How to Help Teens Find Purpose, and it talks about all of these great opportunities that kids have as teens to help them find purpose in life. And I'll give you the link in just a sec. It's talks about the components that are key, being purpose for a purpose-seeking experience, having an important life event, serving others in a meaningful way, and changes in life circumstances, and that traveling abroad, spending extended time in the natural world, getting involved in a meaningful social change project, or establishing a contemplative practice. Those are four key experiences that really seem to be tied into people's having this discovery of purpose, especially in their adolescent years. So I was really excited to see that, because it's consistent with my personal experience for myself as a human becoming, and it's consistent with the experiences I've seen in my kids and lots of other kids that I've gotten to work with. So I thought that would be a terrific article just to read for the joy of reading, but then also it's a really great article for each of us who works with older girls to read, to think about how does that apply to what we're doing in Girl Scouts and what we're doing with those seniors and ambassadors. How are we giving them opportunities to find their own purpose, to find why they're here and why it's valuable. So just to, let's see if I've got a text box on this as I pull up the, it's really fun having the different tools on two different screens. I have two screens, so you all don't have to see all of the things that I'm doing, but I think I can make a text box right there. Maybe not. Maybe I have to actually click the right thing. Inserting text box, there it is. And then I can just put this in there. The magic of technology. And can you see it now? There it is.
There it is.
And it's a tiny URL. I don't know if you know the trick on tiny URLs, but this is one of my favorite tricks. I've got a couple of nifty computer tricks. Will it make girls feel like they have purpose? Maybe, but they probably know how to do this. So if you have a super long URL, like, if I went to the Pearl home, why would I pick the world's longest one? That's not a super, well, it's long enough. So I could just copy that, and then I can go to tiny URL, and it pops up because I use it all the time. And you just enter your long URL here, where it says enter long URL to make tiny, paste it, and click make tiny URL. And then here it gives me the tiny one. So I can just click copy to my clipboard, and it has, and then it's easy for me to paste wherever I want to paste it, like I did right here. So, nifty trick, in case you are a person who likes to copy links into things on Facebook or wherever. When it's a super long URL and it takes up like 5 lines, it's crazy. But when it's a tiny one, it's just so much less daunting. And maybe none of you have that experience and you're just thinking, she's crazy, but It's my experience, so there's that. So if you were to click on this tiny URL or copy it down and type it into your browser, you would be taken to the article that is called, that I closed probably, that is called How to Help Teens Find Their Purpose. And like I said, really, really good article. So there is that one. But spring, doesn't it have everybody just itching to plan for summer? And there are so many terrific, terrific opportunities for summertime. Often kids have a little more time on their hands. Even seniors and ambassadors often do have jobs, but still there's not the homework. There isn't school all day. They're looking for things to do. And it's a time when you can do more exploring. Elaine, you do lots of camping stuff and have done lots of camping stuff with Girl Scouts and volunteers. What are some of the things that you like to do with Girl Scouts in the summertime?
I used to take my girls hiking. We did a lot of hiking. We did camping. Most of them were older. They were older Brownie juniors that when we went camping. They did some volunteer work. We tried to get together at least once a month during the summer,
right?
So that we could stay together.
Right, because it kind of helps maintain those relationships that you've worked so hard on all year.
Correct, because if you stop in June, which was the end of our camporee,
right,
and you didn't see them again until October, then yeah, it's a long time.
Yeah, really, really.
For them not to be reminded. So we got together once a month, whether it was going to be outside, going just to be together, that kind of thing. We did picnics, you know.
Isn't it funny, too, how it can be something as simple as that, just a picnic or a simple day hike, you know, where you and I both live near Bradbury Mountain.
Right.
Not Mount Bradbury, but Bradbury Mountain, it's a simple day hike, or Wolf Neck State Park, or I know down in the Saco area there's that beautiful marsh walk, and
yeah,
just
because I know that Wolf Neck, if you've got young girls,
mm-hmm.
Wolf Neck is a really nice one to go to because it's not hilly.
Mm-hmm.
The trails are already cut out for you. And it doesn't matter, you know, and where you go, part of it is on the ocean side, and the other part takes you to the other side.
Right.
And it really is you could do the whole thing with daisies probably.
Right.
You know, even though I think the longest trail is what, 1.5 miles?
Yeah, and they're flat.
I think, and they're flat.
Right.
And that's the good thing. It gets them thinking about walking, because you do have to pay attention. But Wolf Neck tends to be a very, very nice one to go to because of the way the trails are.
Yeah. And you know, almost every community in the state has local parks like that, whether they're state parks like Wolf Neck is and Bradbury, or just a local town park that has a wooded area with some paths in it.
Doesn't your town have one? Is it Beaver?
Yeah, Lisbon has Beaver Park, which is a terrific little park that has ponds and it has lots of trails. I know where we just were a couple weeks ago up in the Caribou, New Sweden area, a rustic state park. Didn't you say that was the first state park?
Yep, that was the very first state park in the system, and we had gone camping there. It says you can swim, but no swimming.
It's all how comfortable you are with leeches.
None I was going to do. But it had some. If you could walk around it because it had some. It's all dirt roads, you know, gravel roads.
Right.
They have one trail that you can do, and it's straight uphill.
Oh.
Straight uphill.
For how long?
It's probably 3/4 mile.
Oh, so it's a quickie. It's like Bradbury.
Yes, but it is all uphill.
Well, and I know in the Camden Hills area, the Camden Hills State Park has camping, and you've got Mount Batty, and is it McGuntacook that's right there?
McGuntacook, yeah.
And those are fun. I've done just the Batty hike, which can be very simple, or I've done the combined hike with McGuntacook and Batty. It wasn't hard, it was just long.
Right. Yeah. They've also got some trails up there that are nature trails.
Right.
That take you into different places. So so that's not a bad one to do either if you live in that area.
Right. Well, and MDI is full. That whole area down east has so many places where you can do simple, just couple of hour hikes or longer hikes, both in Acadia and outside of Acadia.
Yeah, and I know the Brunswick. I haven't done it, so I'm not quite sure what it looks like today. But on going out to Harpswell, there's walking paths there, but I don't know what they're like anymore. And believe it or not, the Bowden has some walking trails.
Oh, I'm sure. I think you're right on that all of the college campuses have at least some hiking trails. Yeah. And, you know, it's important, I think, for all of us as we're planning these kind of outdoor experiences or getting together with a little more free time to be thinking about how do we prepare for them. And so calling local places to say, hey, what do you have available? What's available in this area? Where are there walks? And then checking the safety activity checkpoints. Before I go there, though, I just wanted to look up All Trails. All Trails is a free app that you can get on your smartphone. And it's nifty because you can put in the radius that you want for, you know, how far you're willing to go to take a hike, and then you can talk about what kind of hikes you want to do. And it's neat. And this is what the page looks like on my desktop.
Oh, yeah.
But see how you can put your home, so it knows basically where I live and where I've hiked. I haven't entered. See, these are all the ones that I hiked when I was preparing for Katahdin a couple summers ago. I put in a whole bunch of hike time. Look at that! I did put one of the Katahdin trips up. But you know, I can find trails, so it'll help me look for things that I might be interested in doing based on my history and based on where I am. And I love it on my cell phone because then no matter where I am, if I'm sitting in a parking lot somewhere waiting for a kid, I can say, hey, what's within 5 miles of here that's not going to be more than 5 miles?
Right.
And go walk it.
Right.
So there's that. But during that planning process, and this is part of that empowering girls, giving girls a sense of purpose, definitely we want to include those girls in the planning of the activity. So maybe they've said they do want to go hiking. In fact, maybe they've said they want to hike Katahdin by August. Well, their bodies might be able to maybe hike Katahdin and just, you know, no prep, go up and come back down, and they'll be a little sore for a couple of days. But grown-ups, I'm telling you right now, you're going to want to do some prep. And really, they should do some prep beforehand, especially those kids who really have not done any hiking. So you could use tools like All Trails to go and find some hikes to get them built up to it. But before you start any of it, really, we want to go to those safety activity checkpoints and look it up. And now, the funny thing, I just made some discoveries in the last month or so. Safety activity checkpoints, I think, are really easy to look stuff up in because on page 3 of this PDF, it has the hyperlinks. You know, the table of contents is all hyperlinks. So the kids want to go hiking, I can just click on that hyperlink and it's going to take me to that activity checkpoint, which is going to help me and the girls because remember, these are seniors and ambassadors. They are not only capable of reading, they're capable of understanding that this document is to help them set up a really fun and safe activity. Not safe like, oh, we're going to wrap you in bubble wrap and protect you from the whole world, but safe in thinking it out beforehand, doing the pre-work, the preparatory work, so that they go into it responsibly and are prepared. And they don't just show up at the base of Katahdin with, you know, no sunscreen and no water bottle and, oh, we'll be fine. I'm sure there aren't any bugs on that hill. So it helps them prepare. Elaine laughing, with some gear and how to prepare for the hike ahead of time, how many grown-ups you need to go along, and look at that. if you had 24 seniors or 24 ambassadors, you still only need 2 girls. I'm sorry, 2 adults, 2 non-related adults to
Right.
go along. So you have a really big group.
Right, but you still want to remember too that if you're going into parks,
Right.
you need to find out what the maximum is that you can go
That's
as a
a good
group.
point. That's a good point. Yeah.
Because
And
I'm getting an education.
yes. Well,
12 is the maximum that you can have
exactly.
in a group to go to Katahdin.
Right. That's the max they'll allow to go in one group altogether, and that's
Correct.
partly so people who hike faster than you can get by you. But
Right.
yeah, so I'm looking to see if this says contact the facility, and I'm not seeing that. But you should contact the facility ahead of time. Well, it says
Yeah.
assess the safety of the hiking routes, and so you'd want to contact that. But yeah, details like that. And then my favorite, on the day of, whatever the activity is, on the day of, and it's always the first thing is get that weather report. And then it gives some other links. So hiking links, know-how for the girls, things you could do ahead of time to help them prepare. And
You know,
some
questions the girls need to ask,
right.
whether it's the leader or the thing is, you know, do you have water available to us, or is it I have to bring my own all the time?
That's a good point too, yeah.
That's an important thing. Getting your water.
Right.
When you can get it, even if you still have half a bottle left, fill it up.
Absolutely.
You don't want.
I know something that this
mistakes.
American hiking site will give people is a list of things to do in preparing for hiking. So it's an even more in-depth list than what the safety activity checkpoint has. But it's that whole thing of get the girls onto the safety activity checkpoints because you know you have to check it as a grown-up, but let's get the girls checking it too so they get in that habit of thinking, oh, I want to do this cool thing, and
Right.
I totally can do this cool thing, but what do I need to make sure I've thought about beforehand so that I can do it? So that's one of the neat tools you have access to as a Girl Scout volunteer, or as a Girl Scout, or as a parent of a Girl Scout. As I zoom back up to the table of contents. I don't know did I do that? I didn't do the Control F. So we were talking, I was telling you that I had discovered some nifty tricks here with PDFs. One of the nifty tricks that I discovered was that if you've got a PDF like the safety activity checkpoints and it doesn't have a search box on it, but what you're looking for, it's a text-dense document. What you're looking for is not in the hyperlinks on page 3. Don't you love? I hope nobody gets motion sickness because I'm just zipping up and down on this thing. Say the girls want to go parachuting. And, I think anybody who wants to jump out of a perfectly good airplane, it's a little crazy, but that's okay. The girls are excited about going parachuting, and so I'm looking here on the alphabetical list, and parachuting isn't there. I don't want to read through every word of this document trying to find parachuting. So what you can do is click Control F. So on your keyboard, click Control F.
F as in Frank?
F as in Frank, right.
F as in Frank, okay.
So the little control key, CTRL, and
Yeah.
F as in Frank. And it opens this search box up at the top. And so I can type in parachuting, and it tells me that there are 3 instances of parac in the whole document. And it takes me to this parachuting thing. And it's in the warning box that happens to be on page 2, actually, that says the following activities are never allowed: potentially uncontrolled free falling, bungee jumping, hang gliding, parachuting, parasailing.
Oh, and look at what the last one is. Trampolining.
Oh yeah, on the free falling one, exactly.
Yeah.
So, I want to know this, and I want the girls to know this before we go through all of the filling out the activity form and getting our hopes up about going to this place. I want to know, oh dear, if I can't do it, that's important to know. Or if I have to make special accommodations to do it. Like maybe they wanted to go whitewater rafting, and they would be okay with a class 4 or class 3 instead of a class 5. That's important to know too, because we have access to 3s and 4s as well as 5s and higher. So that's a handy, both of those things are handy. This box that warns me of things that we either need to get written pre-approval for, or that we just we can't take the girls to do. I want to know that up in front, and I want the girls to know that up in front. And then this Control F search box. I just love that. I cannot tell you how many times I've been in a PDF and wanted to figure things out and not known how to create a search in it. So tools, fun tools, and tools that your girls might actually know that. I want to say that Madeline looked at me like, duh, when I told her about it. But you know, how many times you get your eyes rolled at you before you stop noticing it? So I could be mistaken. She might not have been rolling her eyes at me about that. But a nifty tool, safety activity checkpoints. And remember how I got there? I went to Girl Scouts main website, forms and resources, and it's under resources, safety activity checkpoints. Click, and it takes me to this PDF. And it is a PDF, so you can always make a copy and save it to your desktop. You could print it out, but it's pretty long. I want to say it's
167 pages.
Look at that, Elaine, knowing. Oh, no, I'm seeing 175. Uh-oh.
Oh, 100. Okay, so they've increased some.
Yes. I think that was the canoeing a couple years ago. They added some folks. And when I say they, I'm talking about the folks at GSUSA who get together with our insurers and make decisions about how we should set girls up to prepare well. One of the things that I didn't mention about that box of things that we're never allowed to do, those are all those things that an inordinate number of girls or kids, an inordinate number of people who participate in those activities end up in emergency rooms. And so we're thinking that's probably, you know, better if we don't have Girl Scouts end up in emergency rooms when it's foreseeable. And it does happen still sometimes. But when it's really foreseeable because it's got such a high percentage, then, you know, better to pick a different activity. So those are some of the things that we can keep in our minds as we're working with seniors and ambassadors or anybody else in the great outdoors. Actually, I thought of another thing. Following Girl Scout safety guidelines. I'm going to zoom again, so if you've been getting car sick, just close your eyes for a sec. Going back up here to the hyperlinks, it's the back and forth that's really the problem. If your girls are getting ready to go camping or doing any of those outdoor activities, the big outdoor ones, the whole camping activities section, they do go right in this consecutive order. So you could go right to backpacking, and the next several pages are all outdoor activities that your girls might be interested in considering. At the Camp Adventures for Adults this summer that we're doing up at Camp Natarswy, August 16 through 18, we'll be having a backpacking track that is in, what's the name of the park? Baxter.
It's in Baxter.
That's in Baxter Park. And it's not, is it on the Mount Katahdin, like the lower part of Mount Katahdin? Or is
it's the lower part of Katahdin, and they'll also be sleeping in a lean-to that's out there.
Neato. So hoping for clear skies and starry nights. That'll be neat. And lots of, I know the backpackers that got together last year at Camp Pondicherry had a lot of fun. And that was just hiking around Camp Pondicherry.
Right.
Which, you know, it's a lovely place, but it's not mountainous, and they were within half a mile of us the whole time, weren't they?
They were.
We just never saw them.
Yep, because they were following the paths, the trails. Right. Yep.
So, and that's even something for our volunteers to think about. If you wanted to take your girls on a backpacking adventure, but really be in a place that you felt more confident, hiking the path around Camp Pondicherry, it took our, what do we have, like 8 grown-ups who did it last summer?
Yes, there were 8 of them.
And they spent more than 24 hours out on the trail with their backpacks and, you know, all their gear on their backs, and
pitched their tent and did all that good stuff.
Slept out in their tents and had a really cool time. Made their food, had their backpacking snacks, the whole bit. It was really neat. So that might be a great adventure for new backpackers, girl backpackers, and then they could use that as a progression step to build up next year, or if they did that at the beginning of the summer, at the end of the summer, maybe go up to Katahdin or to Acadia and find slightly more difficult backpacking adventure. So I just heard a whole bunch of volunteers go, oh no. And you know what? It is okay to feel that way, because like I always have told the girls that I worked with, I don't want to do whitewater rafting. Maybe kind of pale rafting, but not when it's really like the raft is bending in half. I don't want to do that. I'll happily sit at the other end with the cocoa and the towels, and I'll help you find grown-ups who will go on those adventures with you. That's an okay thing to have. I don't think I'm all for people stepping out of their safety zone. What is that circle that we call? That place where you just feel super safe if you don't ever step out of it. What'd you say?
Your comfort zone. Your
comfort zone. Thank you. I knew it was a simple word that I know, but I could not grasp it. But some things, if I'm going to have a panic attack by stepping in some directions, I would rather not have a panic attack when I'm on a Girl Scout trip. And so go find another person who's an expert who will help. And in Maine, we've got these folks, Maine guides. I don't know if you've heard about them. I'm sure you have, actually. They're all over the place. And they are so gung-ho about helping people discover the outdoors that you probably have one related to your troop, if not immediately related to your troop, then not too distantly related, that you could pull in as an expert to help your girls do some of the adventures that you don't necessarily want to be the leader on. So take advantage of your resources. Use your resources wisely. I'm just scrolling through all these outdoor safety activity checkpoints because I love these outdoor things. I have a lot of fun, and I love the jargon that comes with each of them because some of them are very familiar and some of them are not. So there's the hiking one again. So what else can you think about, Elaine?
No, the one thing that they always want to check is the safety activity checkpoints.
Absolutely.
And if you're asking the questions, geez, I wonder if it's allowed, you need to ask somebody. Don't just assume that it's going to be okay and wait for it to cross somebody's desk and then say, oh no, we're not going there. That type of thing. So we need to make sure that we know there are activities that are not allowed under any circumstances.
What I also like about the safety activity checkpoints is you see that there aren't very many of those. That really, the great preponderance of activities are allowed. It's just there's some steps to follow just to be sure everybody's thinking it through.
Correct.
In fact, multiple times I've used them with troops when they couldn't think of what they wanted to do. Like, what do you want to do? I don't know. What do you want to do? I don't know. Let's pull up safety activity checkpoints and see what people do.
Yeah.
And there are so many great ideas. And it's so funny. Just the addition of the pictures, the photographs for each one, made the girls in the troop I was working with at the time so happy because safety-wise had been just complete text. And seeing those photographs, the girls all look like they're having such a good time, and the grown-ups look like they're having a good time. Outdoor cooking. Who doesn't like to do outdoor cooking, for heaven's sake? So, it made them want to try things, and I love that. So, what do we like to do? I don't know. Let's see what we like to do. Oh, that sounds fun. So, terrific resource. I am all about that. As is the website. If you're not sure what you want to do, come on down to the Girl Scouts of Maine website. I was poking around it today trying to find the pictures of the outdoor badges that the girls voted on this year, and they don't have the pictures up yet. But I hear that by this summer we're going to have not only the pictures of the badges, but we'll also have the all of the requirements for the badges. So girls can start working on these new outdoor adventure badges with outdoor adventure, horseback riding, archery, paddling.
Didn't I see somewhere where they gave what each level was going to be doing?
Yeah, it's right here on the website where it says Brownies outdoor adventurer.
Yes.
Seniors will have horseback riding. Cadets will have archery. Seniors will have paddling, so paddling, kayaking.
Yeah.
And then ambassadors get Ultimate Recreation Challenge, where they're going to have 5 different areas that they're being challenged to go in, learn everything about it, and potentially even get certification in it so that they could then turn around and share it with younger girls.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Good.
I think that made me the happiest of all of them, that Ultimate Recreation Challenge, because I've known so many ambassador girls who are really ready to take on that level of being ambassadors, of sharing their great experiences and introducing people to these life-changing, purpose-filled opportunities. So it goes right hand in hand with that article that I brought up at the very beginning, and you can't see because I scrolled it separately, but this How to Help Teens Find Purpose. I really think that ambassador badge jumps right into it. So yay! Thanks for
You're welcome.
joining in. You had lots of great stuff. Grown-ups, Elaine is the one that you want to contact if you are interested in camp adventures for grown-ups, and really you may not know it yet, but you may not realize, but you are interested in going to camp adventures for grown-ups, because it is going to be a good time at Camp Natar.
It is. It's going to be a wonderful time. You can also register online.
Oh, yes. Ooh, I was going to take them there, but it's going to be under the Learning Lounge. And then down here on the list, Camp Adventures for Grown-Ups. And it'll take you right to your eBiz site where you can log into it. So I'm always curious. Oh, look at that. And until, what is the date? Until May
the 28th.
May 28th, you can get it for just $39.
Yep.
And that's a deal you can't beat. You can't even feed yourself for $39 for 2 days.
That is correct.
So log in, sign up, bring a friend, and we'll see you next week. Thanks for coming. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.